Damien Leith, welcome to Noise11.com. And gee, we've got a few things to talk about, haven't we? You're going to be on the road, you're going to be on the radio, you're going to be in the studio. There's a whole lot of things going on in your life at the moment.
It's a busy time. It's great. It's actually, I'm thrilled. It's always good to be busy. As far as I'm concerned, that's how I want to. It's how I want to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Before we get into the music side of things, there are some important questions we need to ask you. Number one, are car prices better north or south of the Windang Bridge?
Oh well, they're actually better on the south side. On the south side of the bridge, that's where you got to go. That's exactly where you got to go. Not many people, you know, it's funny. Windang Bridge is only a new area for me. When I first came to Wollongong about 3 years ago, they were joking around saying that I never went beyond the Windang Bridge. I'm now making my way all over the Illawarra. I'm doing the whole run.
Excellent. Question two, if I'm buying a computer in Wollongong, do I buy from the guy with the best price or the best advice?
Oh, that's a tough thing. I would go with the best advice.
Yeah.
Because computers, you got to get the right one. They all pack up so fast. I'm finding the minute you've got some sort of a deal on it where there's like a 2-year warranty, it packs up at 2 years on the dot. so take whatever extra warranty you can get and whatever advice you can get.
Excellent. And question number three, if Andy is about to play 22 songs in a row, what's the point of Andy?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question. What is the point of Andy? Jeez, get rid of Andy. Although, in Andy's defense, they're sneaking in a lot of songs that are about 158 at the moment. So Andy might, you never know, you might get lucky.
All right, well, you've been working both together and separately with Darren Coogan, honouring some great artists, both of you, haven't you? He with his Cat Stevens, you've done the songs of Roy Orbison, and at times this is coming together in the same show.
Yeah, so we got a new show called In Good Company. We've done shows before. We did a show called Two of Us, which was the songs of Lennon and McCartney, which was just something we kind of put together because we both like Lennon and McCartney and we're both mates. So it was really just, hey, let's just do a show together. It was kind of one of those situations. And then the show actually worked really well and we ended up with a string quartet. So we thought, let's take it a step further. And we're doing the show called In Good Company, combining other, concepts or other ideas that we've done. So I've done the Roy, he's, as you said, the Cat Stevens. We're also doing original songs in this as well. So this is more of it's a best of show combining two artists instead of one. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When you do the Roy Orbison, that actually covers the entire Roy Orbison career, doesn't it? Right up to the Travelling Wilburys.
Yeah, the whole lot. Yeah, there's always one or two songs in there as well that aren't part of the set list. That I have a little area during the show for the Roy show where I get to do my own thing. That's separate to say the band or the orchestra or whatever version that we're doing. And I'll do a Love So Beautiful, or I'll go somewhere else, do something that's not necessarily on the set list. Just because there's all those those other songs that they don't necessarily fall into the hits of Roy Orbison, but they're great songs as well. And I love his music. I love the way he sung his songs. He was an amazing singer.
Really well, it was impressive that your interpretation of Roy went all the way to the Orbison family, to the point where Barbara worked with you on one of those albums, didn't she?
Yeah, the album, so Roy, a tribute to Roy Orbison, that came about actually from Barbara. So Barbara reached out to Sony at the time, saying that it was Roy Orbison's 75th birthday. It would have been his 75th birthday, and there was talk about making this album to celebrate the 75th birthday. And then my name came up somewhere along the way. I think it was because when I was on Idol, I did Crying. So between one thing and another, Barbara was chatting to Sony, and then Sony came to me, and then next thing I knew, I was on a plane over to Nashville to work with Barbara on this album. It was pretty surreal. I got to be honest with you, and it was left of field. It wasn't what I thought I was going to be doing that year, but it was an amazing thing to do.
Tackling Crying now, that's a very bold move, isn't it? Considering also the Roy and the KD Lang versions of that are just absolutely stunning.
They're incredible, and actually, really and truly, it's dangerous when you do those sort of songs. It really is. And my endings, I put in a different ending to that, to Crying, that neither of them have in their version. And I thought it was risky at the time, you know. But that's just how I interpreted the song. But I got great feedback, because I write with Joe Melson. Joe Melson wrote that song with Roy, and he's fully backed kind of my version of it, and saying, you know, it's really lovely. At least you went somewhere different with it, and I love the fact that you went somewhere different with it, which is great. I'm thrilled with that. He's never come back and said, shouldn't have done that. You know, so I got the tick of approval, which is cool.
When you and Darren do the songs of Lennon and McCartney, are you specifically Lennon or McCartney, and does he take the other position?
No. It's kind of like whenever I do the Roy show as well, I don't dress as Roy or act like him, or I don't do anything like that. And it's the same with when Darren and I are together. We don't go down the route of impersonating or trying to be anyone in particular. So we've an equal amount of Lennon and McCartney songs. It's a very stripped back show. I'm mainly on the piano for that show. We've the string quartet, so they're more interpretations of the songs, you know, staying true to them, so that, you know, people aren't sitting there going, wow, you just took that too far in one direction. They're still very true to the originals, but yeah, they're very much like acoustic interpretations. So which is great, you know. We do fight over some of the songs. There's a few songs there that he got Blackbird, which I wanted Blackbird, you know. He got in fast. That was the thing. He got in just when we were in the initial talking phase of the whole project. He was like, "Oh, I really want to do Blackbird," you know. So, but then on the flip side, I got Let It Be. So that's all right. It's a trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you do your negotiation? Like, you can have Blackbird, but I get 2 Cat Stevens.
Well, it's a little bit like that. It's kind of like, you know, when someone gets a really good song, and you know it's because we've all been gigging for years, and we all kind of know what an audience is going to respond to. So like Darren and I will know, oh, gee, why? So you're going to be doing Blackbird. Well, I need a solid one to back that up, you know. Otherwise, we're going to have a dip. So we'll talk about it. The good thing with the Beatles, though, is, you know, there's any number of songs. They're all great. You're not going to fail with any of them. So I think we've been pretty lucky all the way along.
You've played some remarkable venues over the years. Does it tend to be that the better the venue, the better the audience?
No, I don't think so. Some of the best shows that I've done are in some of the smallest venues, you know, and they're intimate, and it's weird. Definitely some of the best shows for me so far are being at venues where I thought, oh, this show's not really working so well. You know, you're looking at the sales numbers of it, and you're going, oh, Jay, you know, this is going to be a tough show. The numbers are low or whatever, and then you turn up, and for whatever reason, there's some sort of atmosphere in the room. I don't know what it is, that maybe they rally together as an audience, or you know, but some of them have been just amazing. And I always, in those situations as well, I find for me, I'm a bit looser, so I'm kind of more likely to try out different things. If somebody really wants a song that's not on a set list, I'll do it, and then you get a nice surprise. You go, oh, gee, I should be doing that song more often. So that's not saying the bigger shows are nice. It's cool when you do them. They're great, but yeah, for me, it's been those intimate ones.
I guess the exception would be the Sydney Opera House. I would imagine that even before you moved to Australia, you knew about the Sydney Opera House.
Oh, always, Jay. That's you know, it's a landmark. Everybody knows it. It's just one of those sort of venues that you step into a venue like that and you're in awe the minute. You're quite nervous playing in a venue like that, because you know loads of people have played there, so you've got that kind of history at the back of your mind, and you also want it to go well, because the venues are expensive. So as a result, your tickets are probably a little bit more expensive. You want to give everybody a great show, so you put a lot of pressure on yourself in venues like that. But they're brilliant. You know, they're venues like that they've got the reputation for a reason. They're amazing.
Yeah, I think the first time we heard your name was when you appeared on Idol those years ago, and you actually beat Jessica Malboy in that year. In your time as a radio presenter, have you interviewed Jessica?
Loads of times. It's been great. Actually, I only talked to her about a week or so ago, and you know, Jess and we've remained friends all through the years. But it is strange interviewing her. I will say that. You know, there's once I've been friends, and then the flip side is actually interviewing someone, and she's the salt of the earth, Jess. You know, she's just a lovely human being who's giving it her all at all times. So we also have great chats, and we reminisce, and we, you know, all that sort of stuff. So she's lovely. She's a lovely person.
And fun fact about Damien Leith, you have a science degree.
I do. I'm a chemist. Yeah, and actually I worked as a chemist for 10 years. So it's a funny thing about being a chemist. When I was younger, all I wanted to be was an actor. And then from an actor, I became a singer. And then all I wanted to be was a singer in a band and all this sort of stuff. But my mother and my father always said, oh, you're going to need something to fall back on, because music, it's a tough business. And, you know, I was adamant. I was like, nah, it's not a tough business. I know this is going to work out. And as it turns out, it took 10 long years before I really got my break, 10 long years as a chemist. And thank God I had it, because it, you know, paid bills and did all that other stuff that we needed to do and helped us start our family. And yeah, so I wouldn't remember anything now. My mates come up to me, especially the band members, and they'll show me a rash on their leg or something and say, hey, Damien, what do you think we should do for that? And I haven't a clue. You're asking the wrong person.
So you've got a whole stack of shows coming up, which I assume is weekend work, because you've got radio Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Basically means you're working every day for pretty much most of this year.
It's busy. It is busy. My wife and my kids, we kind of map out the year and we try and make a plan. And so I do big bunches of dates. So we start in the next couple of weeks, and they'll go right through until about July. And there's even more dates to be announced. Then take a little break for about another 2 months of no shows, and then kick in again later in the year. So that's kind of the way I've been doing it over the last while. And it's a balancing act. But I love performing and I love touring. So it's kind of one of those sort of things I couldn't give it up. So you know, it's just a part of who I am. So even though I'm doing the radio, I said touring is a really, really important part as well.
And you're travelling quite a long way from home at certain points. Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie, Wagga, Lithgow. I would assume that you'd have to borrow the Wave FM helicopter to do this. If
only the helicopter was working. I think when Janet Cameron sold it to ARN, she took the helicopter with her. So a helicopter would be awesome. Or Taylor Swift flying around in a jet. That would do the trick as well. But no, for me, it's a lot of Virgin Airways and hire cars at airports, but it does the trick. It gets me around.
Well, good to talk to you, Damien. It's a pretty full-on itinerary. Like if I throw it up there, it goes on forever.
Well, I got to tell you, it's and that's actually that's the first leg. So we have about another 20 shows to announce. Later on the year, there'll be solo shows. So I got that. It's a busy year. This year, I'm excited. It's a good year. I've got a novel coming out this year as well. I have a novel with Walker Books. It's going to be my first children's. I shouldn't say children. It's a teen. It's like for about 12-year-olds novel. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited with that as well. That comes out a little bit later in the year. So there's going to be a lot of juggling going on, I reckon.
What's the book about?
It's about sisters, Birdie and Lake. So and these two unfortunate sisters get adopted by a horrible, evil woman who has plans for them to become ultimately her slaves. She's got a mansion, and she's a really vicious, horrible woman. But it follows their story and them getting separated and trying to find each other and trying to escape the mean Mrs. McGregor. And it's all kind of through that sort of dark humor. It's in that very much Roald Dahl sort of dark humor. So it's and it's set in that sort of time period. So yeah, I'm pretty excited with that. It's I just got the artwork the other day, and it's so nice just kind of looking on your phone, going, now it's really starting to come to life. So yeah, pretty excited.
All right, well, good stuff. Enjoy your trip, and we will catch up with you on the wireless in the breakfast show on Wave FM.
Absolutely. Thanks a million. Really appreciate it.